Time now for John Clarke and Bryan Dawe.
Thanks for your time.
Very good to be talking to you, Brian. Good evening.
Tell us what's happening over there. This has been a terrible week.
Shocking week here, Brian. Absolutely shocking. There are two big stories. We can do them in either order. You choose.
Two stories?
Two stories, yes. We're all going to be murdered in our beds and we're all going to be ruined. Which one do you want first?
Well, let's leave the collapse of the global market for a minute.
Okay.
Why is that happening, incidentally?
Why?
Yeah, why are the markets so unstable?
Over-regulation, I would imagine, Brian, over time, going back. I've got some notes here. Yes, there's some concern about European sovereign debt and there are worries in the US about the possibility of QE3.
What's QE3?
It's a ship.
That's QE2, isn't it?
It was. Maybe this is a new one, Brian. They must be launching a new one.
This is for Canard.
I imagine it's not easy, Brian. I mean, it's a very big thing to do. It's a hell of a thing.
Really? Is anyone famous on it?
Oh, undoubtedly. They'll have the usual big ones, Brian. Steve Williams, someone from Harry Potter.
Lord Lucan?
If available.
There's been a rally, hasn't there?
Been rallies in both these stories, Brian. Rallies are a feature.
Yeah, well, let's go to the London riots for a second. What's the actual cause of this?
You want to talk about the London riots?
Yeah, why have they happened?
Hang on, you want to talk about the London riots, Brian, or do you want to talk about why there are riots?
Well, both.
Well, nobody knows why they're happening.
What, no one knows what's caused them?
No one's got any idea of why these are happening.
Not a social divide?
A social divide?
Yeah.
In England? Brian, the Prime Minister's flown back from Tuscany to point out that's not right, and he spoke very well, I thought.
All right, tell me about the actual riots.
Well, they're terrible. I mean, they're not just in London, they're happening in a lot of the big cities.
Mobs of people
marauding groups of youths very often, Brian, causing damage, looting. I mean, the streets aren't safe.
Yeah, the wallopers must have their hands full.
The plot are peddling like ducks, I'll be frank with you, Brian.
Yeah, the Prime Minister must be very worried.
Well, he's come back from Tuscany, Brian, and I think that speaks the seriousness.
And how concerned he actually is.
No question about that, Brian.
Sure.
Yeah. Can I just correct something I said earlier?
Yep.
I said earlier that QE3 was a ship.
Oh, yeah?
It isn't.
What is it?
QE3, I've just looked it up, Brian, is a large injection of money into an economy when monetary policy doesn't seem to have worked.
Well, how much money are we talking here?
Shirtloads, it says here.
How much?
God, these screens are little. I can hardly read that.
How much?
Absolute shirtloads, it says here.
Doesn't make sense.
Shirtload upon shirtload, maybe.
Thanks for joining us.
Is it safe out there? No, I'll just stay talking to Brian for a week or so then. No, he'll have plenty of questions. He's an Australian.